If you run Google LSA ads, speed is everything. If you're not responding within 5 minutes, you're going to be losing out on a lot of leads, which is a lot of money. Today, I'm going to show you my set and forget automation I use to respond to every LSA lead, even while I'm sleeping. Let's get to it. All right, guys. So the automation platform we're going to be using today is called make.com. I'm sure many of you guys have already heard of it. I was actually using Zapier before this, but I noticed that Make is able to do this for much cheaper, and it's able to do everything that I need. So it's just a no-brainer. With that being said, I'll drop a referral link for you guys. I'm actually using a free profile here myself, so it's pretty dope that they allow you to do this straight off the bat. So we're going to go ahead to create scenario, and you want to look for Gmail. You can type it in, or it's right there for me. And you want to look for the one that says watch emails, right? Going to select that. And essentially what's happening here is each time you get a new message from a new client, right, or a new request from a new client, you get an email as well, right? Although you get an SMS message as well, you also get an email on the back end. And what we're going to be doing is using that email as a trigger for this automation. Now, make sure that you're very specific, right? There's two filters that we want to set here to make sure everything works like it's supposed to. So for filter type, keep that as a simple filter. Make sure it's set for inbox, right? So the folder you want is inbox. And skip all this, and you're going to hit advanced settings. And the first filter is going to be sender's email, right? And LSA has a certain domain they use, which is going to be this at AW Express, right? Make sure you do not forget this star. Do not forget the star. If you don't put the star in, it's just not going to work because it needs to be dynamic. Now the subject, you could skip that. Has words, you actually want to make sure it has these specific words. And once again, just like the first filter, right? Make sure it's just like this. You don't want no changes. Sent you new request. Because like I said earlier, there's certain words that are in those emails from new clients, and it's not in any other replies nor follow-up messages. From there, you can keep everything else the same. The limits, I haven't really played around with that quite yet, but I think 10 should be enough for what we're doing here. So just go ahead and hit save. Now, what I would do if I were you, because you don't want to send some messages all the way to the old people, and you don't want it backtracking, wasting credits, all that stuff. So I would hit firm now on. You're going to hit save there. And now we're going to go on to the next step, right? Now, this video is for two people. If you want to be simple, right, and you don't want any AI to help you out with these responses, then you can go ahead and skip step 2. So once again, skip step 2 if you don't want any AI assistance. But if you don't have no problem going through a few extra steps, then follow along with me. So step 2, if we are going the AI route, which I do, you're going to look for OpenAI, which is this one, where you can type it once again. And you're going to look for the one, you're going to click it first, and you're going to look for generate completion, right? Nothing else but generate a completion, right? You're going to hit that. And then what you want to do is you want to connect your your Open API. So you can go and add one, and kind of walk you through how to do that. So in your Open API, it says in the building page, you can follow this link, and I actually already have it open here. So we'll go over here, and I'll create a new secret key, right? And we'll call it LSA 3.0, right? The project, default project, create the secret key. Make sure you save the secret key. This is super important for you to save that. That way you don't lose it later on or something like that, right? And then we're going to go back. Over here, we're going to go back, and you're going to just type that in. So you have your API key, and bam, right there. You can skip organization ID and hit save. Awesome. So it went through. Now what you want to do is you want to select your method. I select this first option. I don't know about the legacy options. Now the model, this is pretty important. There's a few models, and obviously if you have premium, you'll have access to better models. And then obviously for this, you do have to have API and the API keys and all that stuff. That You can search up for more videos to give you more information on that. It's nothing too crazy, and it's pretty cheap as well. So make sure you're going to select the right model, right? It has to say chat in it. Once again, if it does not say chat in it, it's not going to work like it's supposed to. The one I'm going to go with, this is the latest one, ChatGPT 5.2 chat. So let's select that, right? And this is where you need to pay some even closer attention. So you're going to add a message, right? You want the role to be set as user and text content. This is going to be your prompt, right? And it's going to have a little more information than just a prompt in here. So I actually have this on the other sheet. I'm going to copy. Bear with me. And I can provide you guys this template as well. So don't worry. Now, this is the prompting. Now, there's a few things that are going to be unique. So obviously this is unique because this is my company's name, right? And then what my company does as well. So obviously if you're a painting company, maybe you're called Paint Bros, right? Paint Bros, a residential and commercial painting company, right? Obviously it's going to change for each company and their respective service. Make sure you scroll down, and this is where it gets really important. This is going to be the dynamic information. That way everything's filled in on its own accord, right? So you want to first make sure that the customer's first name is there. Now it's not always going to be there, but if it is, then you want it to use that name. So you're going to hit subject, right? And then for text context, it's pretty easy. You're going to go to full text body, right? Bam. And what this pretty much does is, like I said, it looks through the subject to see if there's a name, because sometimes you will actually have a name pre-filled out in the subject line. And then this looks at the body. It reads the message. It reads the message and what the client had sent you. That way it could start responding. After that, just scroll down, make sure everything's looking good. I have my own things. Make sure you fill out all the, unique information, which on the template, I'll obviously have it distinguished for you. But yeah, from there, we can hit save once again. And then we can go ahead and move on to the next step. So hit the plus sign, right? And this one's going to be a delay. A delay is very important because you don't want them to be sus. You don't want to look like a robot, but you still want to reply super quick. That way they don't start calling someone else. So you're going to type in tools. And then you're going to look for the one called sleep, which is a delay, like I said. And then I would go ahead and set it to about 180 seconds, which is roughly 3 minutes, or exactly 3 minutes. You're going to hit save. And then let's move on to the last step, right? The last step is actually going to be Gmail again. So hit Gmail. And this time it's going to be send a new email, or send an email. Now you're going to connect to your account, add account, connect to it. Pretty easy. I don't have to walk you through that. Now for the to, you're going to add a recipient. The to here is going to be the from email. So you're going to scroll down from email, and you're going to look for the one that says from email. Bam. And then where you want the subject to be is the subject. Pretty easy, right? Now, another thing here is this is really dependent on what you selected for the body type, right? So if you had selected the ChatGPT version, which most of you probably did, then you're going to want to hit raw HTML. From here, we're going to go over to body type. Now, remember, there's two options. If you went with the AI version, meaning you had ChatGPT handle your replies, then you want to actually select raw HTML. And then inside the content, you're going to go over to result. And this is just going to pretty much make the reply the output that ChatGPT ended up generating. Now, if you ended up just wanting to go with the more simple version of this, where it's just a static reply, right? Just to keep on top of everything, nothing too crazy, then you're actually going to want to hit this one right here, collection of contents. And then you're going to go over here to add body contents and then text. And then you can add something like this, like, thanks for reaching out. We received the request and we'll be with you shortly. Oops, get that little space right there. But yeah. And then from there, you can actually just go and save, right? And then you're pretty much done. Now, what I recommend doing here, if you want to test this, right, is actually duplicating. So before I do that, I'm going to come here and just change that one thing because I actually do want mine to be the AI type of reply, right? And then I'm going to hit results, like I said, and then save. From here, what we want to do is we want to go and save. So make sure you save a name. We'll name this one LSA auto reply. And then I'm going to hit the save button. Now, if you want to test this, this is the way I would do it. First, head back to your scenarios, click scenarios, go over to the one you just made. In this case, it's going to be this one, and clone it. I would hit yes, and then we'll call this copy. Now, the first thing you want to do here is click on Gmail. And we actually want to scroll down and we want to take out the filter we had made earlier for the AW Express. That way we could test it out with our own personal email, right? Then scroll down and save. And then also, of course, make sure that the prompt's looking good. Namely, making sure these little bracket thingies are out. I just had that for you guys to see. Of course, make sure the logic there's good at the bottom. Other than that, looks looking cool. Save. Now, even more important before you guys run it is I want you to go back to this and I want you to right click it. And I want you to go to choose where to start. You're going to go and click from now on again, and you're going to save. Then you're going to press save once again. And now I'm going to show you that example email. So I had an email that I made that looks just like what you would see in real life. So here it is. Has all the information, has a name, and has the message. So I'm going to go ahead and send that. And then we're going to give it a few seconds to carry over. Bear with me. Cool. So now that I'm sure that it's sent over, I'm going to go ahead and hit run once. Now you should see it start populating and start running through the automations. You can click here and make sure it's the right person, Felix Gomez. You can see the result that it came up with, which is actually really good. And then, of course, the delay here. Cool. And now it's sent off. And now let's go back to the inbox to see if I got a reply. So click that. Awesome. Here we go. Now what that's going to do is this is going to make sure that you stay ranked at the top in Google LSA and Google My Business, which then in turn is going to result in you getting more clients. Google My Business and LSA, they're very reactive, right? They like to see that people are active on their platforms and they reward that. So making sure that you're really quick to reply, but also, making sure that you're moving the conversation forward and at the same time is super important. So hopefully that made sense to you. But other than that, this is just a test one. So after you're done verifying that it works, then you can go ahead and pretty much run the real one. Now, remember, if you are testing out another email, let's say you want to test it out more than once, what I noticed from my expertise is if you don't right click it and go to choose where to start from now again and save that, and then save that, and then you send like an email, then it will work. But if you don't do that, then it's not going to work. So other than that, appreciate you guys for watching. A few tips before you guys start implementing these automations. Be super, super wary of not changing the keyword in step one, or else it's not going to work like it's supposed to. And secondly, make sure you're paying attention to all your data, right? Clicking the wrong thread, anything like that when it comes to Zapier and these type of automations is just going to render the whole automation useless. With that being said, if you guys have any more questions, need any more help at all, let me know. Or if you just want the automation template for yourselves, I'll actually have it for free to get to you guys. Just DM me on IG, which is going to be in the link in the description, and I'll give you guys that for free.